Hi everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to the On It Instagram live series. Today we are going to be talking about time for information rich with Nadia, who is an incredible human being. I cannot wait for you guys to meet her, hear her point of view, get to know her, and join in this conversation of a topic that we're both extremely passionate about. I'm going to invite her over. Give me just a second. So just while she joins, I will let you know that Nadia is my marketing consultant and somebody incredible, somebody that I have been working with maybe less than a month, I don't know, but it feels like years. So Nadia, I'm so excited for this conversation. Hi, hi,
Thank you
hi.
so much for having me.
Yes, well, why don't you tell the world who you are and then we can get into the hot topic of the day.
Absolutely. So thank you for all of you that are tuning in from Telma's audience. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been amazing to work with Telma on this journey of putting out this book, this amazing collection of stories. My name is Nadia. I am a marketing consultant. I specialize in content marketing strategy. And I had the opportunity of meeting Telma inside a workshop hosted by Sonia from Mujerón Movement. And it's been an amazing journey so far. I can't believe how much I've already learned from you, Telma. So yeah, it's just amazing to be part of this community and to be here today to talk about this phenomenon.
Yes, so today we decided a topic in which it is crazy. We did meet in a workshop, and it was how interesting how our paths crossed. But ever since we met, we were kind of eyeing each other. And when the launch of this book that you guys all get to have in your hands, September 27th, I was really looking for somebody that could support me on the back end of things that, as you guys know, is not my forte. But then I have seen her shine in the Mujerón, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna check this out, and I am so glad that I did. And I quickly noticed that accountability is my middle name. It comes easy to me, and some people say that I'm fast-paced person. And Nadia over here was keeping me on my toes, and I was like, oh my God, she is amazing. Like productivity and efficiency that I had very few times seen, and I quickly recognize, admire, applaud, and obviously appreciate, right? So we decided to talk about time poor, information rich, because as we all know, it's a topic that is, I don't know if it's spoken about often enough, but it's definitely affecting everybody.
Yeah, when I think about the first time I heard this, first of all, the first time I heard this time poor, information rich phrase, it took me back to the years when I was in grade school and your teacher would assign you a research paper and you had to go to the first, maybe schedule a trip to the library, or your teacher would take you to the library as part of the project. And you had to go to the library, ask the librarian for help to find the encyclopedia and a few other books. And you found yourself in this mountain of books and physical stuff. And now I see these kids. My son isn't old enough yet, he's only 4, but I see my nieces and nephews carrying around a device, a portable device, and all of the information that you could possibly need to write this research paper, and probably 100 more of them, is found in this device. So it's definitely a whole different world. I don't know if anyone watching right now is old enough like me to remember those days when we didn't have access to information in our pocket, in our back pocket, and so so much of it too, which is great. It's great that we have all of this information and increased access to it. But what are the downsides to that? Right? So the downsides are, well, we feel overwhelmed. What do we do with it all? How do we process it? How do we take it in and apply it so that it actually helps our lives be different than we knew our parents' lives to be, or even just to be mindful of the changes that we can make. So super fan of this topic. And no, Thelma, I haven't seen enough people talk about it. I probably feel that in 2023, we are going to become fans of doing less, but better, because doing more has been sort of the motto for the past probably 2 to 3 years.
I know, and I've seen it, and honestly, I have been a victim of it. I have been that person that I was like, well, everybody's doing it, so might as well like get with the times, right? And start taking it. And here's the thing. I don't know that we are aware of how much information we're actually receiving. So you're scrolling on Instagram and your brain is actually trying to open a tab for everything that you're scrolling, and like before you blink, you already have a tab open, but I don't know that you're aware of it, right? And so I don't know how you can process information that you are not even fully aware. And then therefore, before you know it, you're exhausted, but you have no idea why.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that obviously we all do need information to grow personally, to grow professionally. So it isn't a bad thing that there's increased access to information on this side, and that we have the tools and resources available to us at any given time of the day. But the issue with that is that it helps, it doesn't really create a system where we can take it all in and apply it to our lives, so that it helps contribute to the growth of our person or our business. And that's where the time poor side of things comes in. So you've got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of this information on this side. And then on this side, we feel we have less and less and less and less of us to give, of our time, of our energy, of our headspace. So I would love to talk about how I myself, without really any coaching, any professional input, how I've gotten to the place where I feel that I actually have more time on my hands than I did before I became a mom and started this business. But I want to hear about you, Telma, because you coach people on this stuff. You help them get the most out of their time. So I want to hear from you, because you bring in the professional point of view, and you've helped so many people already. And now with your new book, it's just going to be, you're going to blow it out of the water with how many more people are going to be more mindful of how they're spending their time and consuming the things, the resources like information that are available to us. So what are some tips that you would say would be helpful for someone like me, a new mom, new to entrepreneurship, wanting to do all these things, seeing all this competition on social media, and struggling to keep up?
Honestly, I feel like all of us can connect, and I think that I can much resonate with you, because I'm also a mom, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I have a wife, and I have a house that never stays clean for some reason. It just never ends. And so I can definitely resonate from a personal area. But so when I first started coaching, it was mostly in time management, because that's it was my saving grace of like, okay, I need to find the time to pour on me so I can pour on others. So I think that would be my very first thing that I would say to everybody. I know it's popular and it is sometimes expected for you to be available to everybody. If you are a mom, especially to your kiddos, to your husband, to your partner, to your everything. And we think that is making us a good person, and it is. But what you are missing is the fact that we are often pouring out of an empty cup, and you can only do that for so long, right? So my first thing is realize that you need to pour on yourself first, and from a full cup you can pour into others. Now when it comes to time management, and you know that I'm a huge fan of Atomic Habits, tiny habits, 1% better every day. It's all the tiny little habits that you start building into your day that allow you to fully be. Because when you're fully present, you can actually respond to things versus react. You can actually acknowledge what's happening and build a relationship. It's from that ability of being present, which means not multitasking. So I would say, if you're proud of being a multitasker, bravo, but your brain is not made for that. And so you're reaching burnout faster than you actually know. So your brain is to do one thing at a time, and you can do it a lot better, a lot more efficiently if you decide to just be fully present on the task. That's why time blocking comes from, scheduling time for whatever you want to do it. But the whole idea behind that is for you to give yourself the time and the fully concentration presence to do that task. So those would be my first to go to of like, please just stop multitasking.
You talk about a little bit about unlearning in your book, about how we grew up with these things being like the roles or the guide to follow, right? Like multitasking, being good at many different things. And I had a conversation with one of my sisters recently, and she reminded me that in our resumes, like when I was trying to get jobs out of college, and when I was helping her put her resume together, I still remember we were putting multitasker as a skill. And we were laughing. We were laughing, having a conversation about how the human brain isn't programmed to be a multitasker. Yet for a while, we thought that that was actually something that we needed to learn how to be good at. And now we need to unlearn that mindset and get away from
Yeah,
it.
just like in my culture, you have to always be available to serve others, especially your hierarchy, right? Which is a beautiful thing, and I love being of service, and I love giving and being and pouring into others. But it's also something that you have to unlearn if you realize that you can show up as the best version of yourself if you take care of yourself first. And
Yes.
I didn't grow up knowing that. I did not grow up knowing that.
No, no, no. I think so. Telma is from Mexico, and I'm from Honduras, and there are some similarities in our culture. But I would say, like coming to the United States and being first gen Latinas from a Latin American country, that is where I find most of the similarities in our stories, because all of these things about unlearning what we grew up to kind of admiring, right? We saw these people doing a bunch of different things, and how does she keep her house clean, and how do the kids always look intact, and how does she have a full-time job, all this stuff. And now that I am a parent myself, and that I am new to this space of entrepreneurship, and I am working to grow my business, I have actually come to the place where I embrace doing less. My child has really unruly hair. It's really curly, and sometimes it looks wild. And sometimes I say to myself, you know what? He's gonna look. That's his hair for today. He doesn't need to look, like I just did his hair. Doing less has been more of the. I've been in that space lately, and that is what has allowed me to feel that I have more time on my hands. Doing less also means doing things a little bit differently. So my mom worked really, really hard growing up, and we rarely had a warm breakfast to wake up to before we went to school. So that's something that I want to do for my son. Even though they provide breakfast and other meals at his daycare, I would like for him to leave the house and his belly is full. But it doesn't mean I need to complicate my life and make pancakes and waffles and every day it's the same breakfast. Every day it's 2 eggs and maybe a little bit of cheese and maybe a tortilla. And every day is the same. And on weekends, we might have a little bit more fun. And he knows weekends are the day where he can ask, Mom, can I get some pancakes? And obviously there are rules to that. There are exceptions to that. Some days I'll give in and I'll do the pancakes if I have a little bit more time. But for the most part, 365 days of the year, we are focusing on doing less and just doing it better. I can compromise. I feel good with that compromise. It's a warm breakfast. It's just not, a full course meal.
As I'm hearing you say that, first I want to acknowledge the fact that Channel Fernandez Photography is saying, I also believe we're in the generation of the cusp of learning that is considered selfish to prioritize ourselves, especially as women. We're the generation pushing to reshape. Oh my gosh, what a release. Yes, yes, we are. I so agree. Yes, we are, because here's the thing. As a mom, I do think that I have a better touch with my kids. When my kids are sick, they definitely come to me, and I don't know if it's because I'm a woman. I don't know if it's because I'm birth them. I don't know. I'm not gonna put a label on it, but I know that I'm really good at handling it. A lot better than my husband, and he really tries. So I do think that there's things that we do better. And if we can acknowledge that and own it, then we can also realize that in order to continue doing it the best that we can, we need to do ourselves first. And as you were sharing your story, I kept thinking how you keep saying like doing less is more, and I'm with you. But what allowed me to be able to get to that point was letting go of the expectations that I had attached to all the labels that I carry, right? So I had to be able to say, before I'm a mom, before I'm a wife, before I'm a professional, I am a human that needs this, right? And like go back to the essentials. And I don't think that is selfish, even though many would say, and in the generation that we're pushing back and relearning it and reshaping it, but it's also letting go of having my worth attached to those labels and expectations that others set on that title. I cannot decide it. I am also a mom that feeds the kids breakfast every morning before they go to school. But I'm also very practical, very practical. So I'm definitely not gonna make pancakes on a Monday. Are you out of your mind? No. Saturdays or Sundays, and yes. But it's really not easy. It's really saying that. It's saying like, this is important to me. This is happening. I'm not compromising on this, and I'm gonna keep it simple.
Absolutely. Karen from Sort Toss Repeat says outsourcing helps too. I want to touch on this just for a second because recently we have been a little bit more open with sharing with our circle that we pay for someone to come and clean our apartment. It's a very small apartment. I could probably do it and bang it out on my own. But I growing up, you know, I don't even know how I feel about telling my mom this because one time I mentioned it. Oh, you know, the lady's here to help me clean. And my mom like almost freaked out. So I have not mentioned it again. But in our circle, it's just come out, the conversation about having someone help to clean and outsourcing that. And I just want to say to Karen's point, outsourcing, we need to, I'm not going to say we need to, but I encourage you to look at it this way. If I only have a certain amount of time in my week, and I am, like I said, a very hands-on parent, I am working to build this business, I invest a lot of time and energy in just putting it back in myself, like exercising, meditating, just thinking, reading, right? So all of that is a whole nother bucket of time that I need to be mindful that I have to, block out. So there isn't that much time left for me to do certain things. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have the time. It just means that what are the trade-offs? I would rather invest the money in outsourcing a task like that than in buying myself a new pair of jeans or a new pair of shoes or having the latest and greatest fashions and trends. It is all about what is the trade-off for me, because the time that I am investing while the lady is helping me clean, I am putting that energy and time doing something else. So that time is actually compounding. What I spent here to read a book while she's cleaning, or to, prep my meals while she's cleaning, or to bang out an online course while she's cleaning, or even just to get my work done more efficiently and faster while she's cleaning, all of those things compound. But the 2 hours that I'm going to spend cleaning, that's not going to compound. That's just, okay, the house is now clean and now we do it all over again until the next time. So for me, I've tried to explain it this way, and I don't know if it makes sense, but that's the way that I look at it. I have traded off buying myself things and instead invested in tasks that I don't want to do because I'm never going to get that time again. Those 2 hours that I spent cleaning, I'm not going to get that time again. I'm not going to see a return on investment. So yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge.
I completely agree, and I don't talk about this often, but I worked in the banking industry for 14 years, so definitely like the return to investment is something that I can sell very good, And when I started becoming an entrepreneur, I noticed really quickly that time is money. It really is, in however you want to use it or however you want to invest it. If you're learning something, you can turn that into money. If you are being present with your kids, they are going to be pretty amazing adults, and you don't have to worry about paying them, living in your house forever. And however it is that you use your time is what really, really makes or breaks how much you accomplish and how you feel about it. Because sometimes, okay, I also have somebody that helps me clean my house, and I am somebody that I really, really love because I'm so grateful. Because yes, it is allowing me to do things that I I'm better at, you know, that I'm gonna get a return on. Um, but I have two girls, so my house is a mess every day, and it's also about teaching them. I was like, okay, we played, we had a blast. Now we pick it up because we also like a clean space to live. We deserve to share a space in which I can sit in a couch without sitting on a Lego, right? So it's also taking the opportunities in which, like, okay, I am cleaning with my kids, but I'm also teaching them something. I'm also being with them. So it's not just trading some of the times. And I'm sure you do this with your 4-year-old because, well, toys are just flying everywhere sometimes.
So this brings me to the next kind of tip that that has helped me and my family in general. So routines, just getting in the swing of things. And it really starts young. It starts so young that, like, I've noticed my child, he comes in the door from daycare, and the first thing he does is take off his shoes and put them where the shoes go. So we don't wear outdoor shoes inside the house. So I'm like, oh, that is really cool that he has picked up on that his parents do that, and so now he's doing that. So that has become routine, which also helps keep the house a little bit a little bit cleaner longer, right? So
Mhm.
routine is a big one for us. Just getting and sometimes routine can feel really redundant and boring. I want to tell you that that redundant and boring pays off times 10. That redundant and boring is what's going to help you do on the weekends. Just let loose a little bit more. When you are doing redundant and boring 5 days out of the week, the 2 days out of the week, you kind of can allow yourself to, just have a little bit of wiggle room and relax, because like I said, he comes in, he takes off his shoes. So that means that I'm not sweeping every single day. I might now maybe sweeping every other day. So yeah, it just routine allows for us to keep a more controlled environment. Like you said, instead of having all these toys flying around, we all deserve a space where we feel good in. And a lot of times that just means a clear space. Um,
Right.
yeah,
I
Kenya's commenting here about filling your cup.
Yes, yes. I think routines are underestimated, and they got like a bad rap for a while. But I am a huge fan of a routine. A huge, it's like it's your behaviors, it's your good habits coming to shine. It is your safe space because you already know what's coming in, what's going out. Like, it is also where the consistency and resilience is built, and that's a muscle that where the difference gets made. So working out, you can only, you don't change your routine often. Everybody runs, and if you're a runner, you might probably understand what I'm trying to say here. It's like sometimes you have to run slow, sometimes you have to run fast, but you have to run. And
Mhm.
so you don't really get to be like, oh, just today I don't feel like being a runner. If you want to become an amazing runner, you cannot just give up on that routine. And it is in the boring, like mundane paces that you build up your resilience, your resistance, your endurance. And the same thing happens in a routine at your home, at your work, and your everything. So I'm a huge fan of routines, and I don't think they should have a bad rap.
I now that to hear you talk about these different things, I'm just thinking back to what I read in the book. So just everyone tuning in, I had the opportunity of being a beta reader for Telma. So I got, an inside scoop on the book, and everything she's talking about now kind of took me back to myself being a kid, and then a teenager, and then a young adult. And I just want to say that this book walks you through, first of all, it's a love letter to all first gens, but especially first gen Latina women. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because we we grew up with this sort of, I'm not from here and I'm not from there. Where am I? What is my identity? We grew up with this uncertainty, this instability, this finding ourselves. And this all that I'm talking about right now, this didn't happen for me till recently. I didn't really feel that I had control of my time, energy, and other resources. So this happened to this transformation was recent. I wish I would have read this book. I wish I would have had this book, years ago. And I hope that every single one of you gets to read it, because Selma, you really walk us through, the early 90s and into the 2000s, and what it was like to grow up, and our kids will not know any of that. It's such a different world, but I really believe there's a lot to dig up there that is worth talking about, and just worth acknowledging. Like, our parents did the best that they could, but it doesn't mean it was the best. Like, we had it rough. And I don't know, obviously it wasn't like that for every single immigrant family coming here, but it was like that for a lot of people that I know personally. And so I know your book is going to really touch the hearts of many of these women that I know personally. I can just, I'm so excited for everyone else to be able to read it.
Thank you so much for saying that. Yes, Nadia got to read this book before, so I'm still really new to receiving the feedback of it, but I'm so grateful, and I hope that it does inspire every single person, especially the first gen, to realize that we get to only control how we react to our circumstances, right? So I moved here without speaking English. I moved here, yes, not feeling, and it's still true to me today that when I'm here, I'm like, well, I still have an accent. I'm not necessarily from here. And when I go to Mexico, I don't speak enough Spanish anymore. So I'm not from there either. My culture is completely different now. So I'm like, well, I'm from myself, to myself, and I'm just visiting here and I'm visiting there. But it is a feeling that, like, it's an invitation for everybody to really acknowledge exactly who you are, because I think it comes from that place that you get to really shine and create the life that you want. And here's the big thing that I really want everybody to just take in, and the whole idea behind this book is an invitation, and it's the permission to own your life regardless of where you live, regardless of the language that you speak, regardless of the accent that you might have, regardless of the expectations that you might have grown up with. You get to really realize that the magic is already inside of you, and you have every single thing that it takes for the life that you dream about. Because your dream life and mine is completely different, right?
Absolutely. Magic is a word that you've used a lot, and that we see throughout the book. But the best way that I received that message was, I don't know that it was said like this word for word, but the message that came across was, the magic is me. The magic is you. That is it. That's the magic. When you wake up when you wake up every single day, I wake up and I'm grateful that I am me. I'm grateful that I've lived the experiences that I've lived. I'm grateful that I know better, or that I know different. I'm grateful that I have the luxury and the opportunity to make those changes, to become a different person, a better person every single day. And then when I go to sleep at night, I remind myself again, with the mistakes, with whatever I'm going through that day, with whatever's happening and I don't have control of, I'm still the magic. I am still the magic. So that's what came through to me in reading the book. Just the idea of self, and
yes,
not self in the self-absorbed way, not self in the I can do everything, I am almighty, because that'll take you on a whole nother journey that I don't want to be a part of. But self in the simpleness of being you, self in showing up as you are, self in not feeling pressure to be anything that you're not, or anything that society wants you to be. Just plain old self. Just yes. I'm the magic as I am.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And so is everybody else, because I feel like your story is so unique, and it's unique to and true to you only. And you perceive the world the very specific way that only you do it. Like, so you can only communicate a message. Like, that uniqueness that we all have is our magic. Nobody can have the same story. Nobody can have the exact same words to express the same idea. Like, it just it's not available to anybody, because you got your own tiny little cells that are very unique to you, and that is your magic. And when you get to embrace that for what you are, like all the good, regardless of the mistake, because honestly behind every mistake there's a learning or an opportunity, right? So, and if you can
Yeah.
start embracing that as a, like, it's part of life, and I'm here to learn something, there's a lesson behind this, I get to grab it and get better. And when we know better, we do better. Then, like, you're not necessarily always feeling down. You're not feeling not enough. You just realize, I'm learning. I'm new at this. I'm trying something new, like parenting. For me, I'm like, every day, I'm like, well, I'm learning. I'm definitely learning.
No, I love that. And I just want to thank you for being so open and transparent. You'll get to see just how open and transparent Thelma is as a person in the book, how much you gave to your readers, how much you gave to your audience. So I'm excited for that because um, recently I was listening to a podcast and this woman was talking about how she wrote a first book and now she's writing a second book, and she talks about how her life is very different now, and what the tips that she's offering and the insight in the second book, it's different. Not to downplay what she taught her readers in the first book, what she wrote about in the first book, and that sort of helped me understand how writing a book, and you've said this before, writing a book is this journey that you embark on that unpacks so much of you, but then it also unpacks so much of who people are, who we just
Mhm.
as human beings are.
Mhm.
So someone here saying loving this book. I don't know if this person was one of the beta readers, but
Yes,
if you
it's.
were, that is a gift that Thelma has so graciously offered. And I want to ask a question about the dance part. So I know from reading the book that you love dance, but for those that haven't read the book yet, what is the deal with the dancing?
I I titled the book "On Your Dance" because dancing is something that I grew up with. I grew up watching it. I grew up experiencing it, and I think of it as like pure freedom, love, embracement of movement, like the movement, but not just a movement of your body. Sometimes you're dancing with somebody, and it's the connection between you two, and sometimes you're just dancing with yourself or dancing with life, like the movement through life, just flowing with the ups and downs that it brings you. And I really think that dance is something that I think is life. I really think of it as life. Is the movement, is the flow, is the connection, the separation, the in and out, the fact that sometimes you are having a blast. Is also the feeling of the fact that you're allowing it, that you're receiving what's coming to you. And so I when I thought of all the stories that I'm sharing in this book that yes are very open and stuff, I was like, what is one thing that can pack them up all up? Because guys, I'm just getting started. Like, yes, I walked you through my life growing up to here, but I mean, I am a mom of two toddlers that are 3 and 4, and I'm learning so much every day. And this book allows you to really reflect on certain topics that allow you to make better decisions and show up differently if you choose to do so. And so it's that invitation to dance with yourself and just dance in general and flow with the circumstances that you have so you can better show up.
I love that. I love the juxtaposition of the word dance in bold, own your dance, and dance sticks out, and then on the cover, and then you have the mountains, right? And so
Yeah.
you're big into hiking. I love the juxtaposition of that because my mind go when I think about dance just goes to like smooth flow, right? But then you think about a mountain and you think about hiking, and that is very like up and down, 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 and then up and down. It's just, like this. So I love that juxtaposition because it really paints the picture of it puts it together really well what life is. Sometimes it is smooth and flowy, and sometimes it is just an up and down and up and down and up and down, down, down. So I love what you did with the cover. I know your brother had everything
Oh,
to do with that. So that was beautiful. That really turned out.
this is what
Now,
I'm referring to. So obviously this is the proof copy because girl, we're still working on the final. But yes, my brother did the cover, and what she's talking about is the mountain because I am an avid hiker. But honestly, life, entrepreneurship, parenting, relationships, they all have ups and downs, ups and downs. And yes, while dancing, a lot of them people think of flowing. It's also just allowing the movement because
mm,
everything passes. Everything passes.
I love that. Des here is saying, Des, who I'm assuming is from your audience because um, I don't recognize the handle. It's saying, yes, getting in rhythm daily. That is what life is all about. Just getting up and getting, falling down and getting back up and finding the
Right.
groove.
Yes, so sometimes it's not resisting so much the invitations that the life are giving you, because there is an opportunity, a lesson everywhere, and sometimes we're like, no, I'm going this way, I'm going this way, and you just find yourself falling twice as hard until you're like, okay, maybe that's not the path.
Absolutely. So where can we find the book and when?
So, okay, September 27th is when it's gonna be fully available to all of you guys. Yes, I definitely pick my beta readers, and I pick them. Well, obviously, I'm so grateful that you were one, Erica was one, and the feedback that we've been getting is fabulous. But on October, September 27th, you guys all get to purchase your copy on Amazon. So you're gonna be able to just on your dance type it, or you can type Telma Sanchez and it should pop up. And that way, I hope that you get the time to reflect and decide how is it that you wanna own your dance.
I love that. Thank you, Telma, so much for having me. I just have to say, someone joined and their handle is Pinche Beba. I love, love that. I love that.
And
Imagining.
if you ever get to know her, which I'm pretty sure you will, and me Mujeron, you'll know why really quickly. It's very
Cool
true.
handle. Really cool handle. Thank you so much for having me, Telma. I'm
Thank
so
you so
excited
much for
about.
coming over and for sharing what has worked for you. So you want to wrap up the points that you made really quickly, so everybody that is willing to no longer be time poor and information rich can apply.
Yes, yes, yes. So to overcome information overwhelm and to instead maximize your time and move away from being time poor. These are the tips that I recommend following. The first one is do less but better. The second one is, I don't think I'm doing them in order. The second one is routine. Just become a fan of routines. Simplify your life. Karen, who was on here, reminded me that outsourcing, don't be afraid of outsourcing things. What are the trade-offs? I know not everyone has the means to outsource things, outsource tasks, but figure out what the trade-offs are. Maybe you don't need that. Maybe that Amazon order that you just put in, maybe you can go back and edit that order and cancel some items and put that toward the bucket that's going where you're, saving for things like laundry, organizing, cleaning, whatever household chores aren't going to give you a return on investment. Like Delma said, time is money. So figure out what are those trade-offs. So outsourcing, do less, but do it better. Become a fan of routines, and everything else. I would just say, remember what Thelma has showed us today. Go ahead and invest in books like Own Your Dance. Go ahead and invest in books like Atomic Habits. These are really life-changing books. Kyle, hi, thank you so much for being here. These are really life-changing books. Kyle is also a new book author too. I'm telling more and more people, get really with it with the books. If you have to do the audiobook, do the audiobook. Take notes on the side. I like the physical copies because I can highlight things, but do what works for you. Books are such an investment that it's the biggest life hack. It's the biggest life hack. Books like this and some of the others that we've mentioned have completely transformed my life and helped me get a better handle on my time, energy, and just in general, my life.
I'm so grateful that thank you for sharing your tips. And if everybody is listening, I hope that you apply them to your life, try them out, find a routine that works for you. Make sure that you are first in your routine, please. Thank you very much. It's so appreciated, because when you can do yourself and you can take care of yourself, you can really show up better for others. It's definitely not selfish, and any mom can relate to that, like if you're burning out and exhausted. But thank you so much for your time, for your magic, because you are your magic, and for just sharing with us everything with you guys. I'm so excited for you guys to get the copy of On Your Dance. It's gonna be available to you September 27th. Mark your calendars, it's coming up quick. And of course, we're gonna make a big deal. I love celebration. I think it's a huge part of life, and so we'll be celebrating that big.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody that joined. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Seated, they said, do less but better, routine, outsourcing, invest in self-development, grow books, and thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Great note taking. I like it. I like it. Now go apply it. Action is where the magic happens. So have a great day. Happy Friday. Make it a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.